Okay, well, we'll keep across that one. Let's move on. There is a new crime wave in the United States. According to the Federal Communications Commission, 1 in 3 robberies involves the theft of a mobile phone. Authorities today, well, they're going to announce their response to that. One thing they want to see is a so-called kind of like a kill switch, which would make a stolen phone worthless. Their announcement coincides with a smartphone summit in New York, which will be attended by representatives from the likes of Apple, Samsung, Google, and of course other smartphone makers. So lots to talk about this. Rohyt Belani, he's an expert on the mobile phone security, and he's also chief executive of his own internet security firm, PhishMe. Is that right? PhishMe. Rohyt, it's great to have you with us in the studio. Let's start with this. Big problems in the United States, but we've had this problems over here in the UK. I'm sure it's a global problem, and one can only assume that these things are stolen because they're kind of worth something and they're out there, right?
Absolutely. It's an issue everywhere in the world, every major city. And it's not just about the data as people thought about it. That's the hackers know other ways to infiltrate in these devices and get the data remotely. It's the resale value. If you think about the fancy iPhones, everyone wants to have a piece of that, and you have the grab and run sort of theft all over in Hong Kong, in New York, and in London. So it is good to see that we're finding the pressures mounting on these players a little bit to come up with this kill switch.
It's interesting what you said, though, about the value of the device, because, you know, there's also talk about how to protect your data and all this. It's not the data, really, that they're after or what's inside. It's the device, isn't it? Because that's got a value on the street.
Different types of adversaries, but sure, the one that's going to grab it from you on the street on a bike is after the actual phone and the resale value associated with it, and probably not the data at that point.
The smartphone summit taking place, which is a shame because you were telling me you're from New York and it's taking place today.
That's correct.
But you're here in London. But no, what's going to go on there? What are they going to be talking about all of this?
I think there's been mounting pressure from the authorities on all of these players, Samsung, Google, Apple, like you said, to come up with this quick kill switch, but also to up the ante on the privacy settings on these phones. So it's good to see that it's happening, and I think some good things will come out of it.
Well, Apple's already mentioned this kill switch with the new software that they've got, or the new update, basically. Do we know how that's, how does it work? What, somebody takes the phone and the phone automatically kills itself?
I wish it was that. It's the iOS 7 that they've launched, and I think it's a step in the right direction what they've done. So essentially what it is think about someone snatches your iPhone and walks away with it, or runs away with it. When they try to wipe it and get it back to a factory default sort of position, the phone is going to request that they enter their identification and password, which is associated with their iCloud account. They are not going to have that. So I think it's just an added, they're raising the bar, really, is what Apple's doing. It's a step in the right direction. It's appeasing the law enforcement authorities, but I do think that it will increase the level of security associated with the device. Oh,
it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of the summit, although I think they're missing a trick. A self-destruct device is what they need. Once that thief gets it, poof, it's gone. Anyway, Rohyt, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate that. Rohyt Belani from PhishMe joining us in the studio.